Then I started to get desperate because I had one day left. And there's this bald guy. You know him, I think, from Wheels on Meals, the small guy, the bald guy in the Jackie Chan stunt team. And I just asked him, sorry, but I want to fight Jackie Chan. I was desperate. It just came out. And he said, you know what? Give me a show reel. I didn't even know what it was. So I set a videotape. But the good thing is, you have to believe in destiny. I was a designer. In the night, before the last day, I made a cover, just like I'm an action star or something. And I put that in the video, you know, those old cassettes. And me and my dad copy stuff and make a video. And I just gave it in the break the next day.
This week on Action Talks, I'm talking to Ron Smoorenburg. Ron is an action actor and an action director based in Thailand. He's known for films like Who Am I?, The Protector, Triple Threat, Sultan, Ninja 2, and a whole lot more. I'm really excited to talk to Ron about action in Thailand, Hong Kong, and everywhere in the world for that matter. So Ron, thank you so much for being on Action Talks. I'm excited to talk to you.
Thank you so much for having me here and everybody who's watching. Hope to give a lot of value to everyone today. Yeah, and again, thank you so much for having me on the show.
You are you're an action actor in Thailand.
Yes.
Now you've worked with a lot of action stars, a lot of fight choreographers, and where do you think it began for you? What would be the first chapter of that story?
The first chapter of my story started with Jackie Chan. It started with Jackie Chan in Who Am I? And that was also the hardest start because I did a movie with Jackie Chan. It's called Who Am I? I did the final fight. I got discovered by him, by Jackie Chan. And yeah, it was hard because I never did any movie before. And when you fight someone like Jackie, right, that is kind of tough. So after Jackie Chan, I had this kind of quest, like I want to fight every action star possible and get experience, more experience. So my goal became, I wanted to fight every action star possible because with Jackie Chan, it was not easy. And yeah, I had to overcome a lot of things, finding the rhythm with Jackie, right? And the pressure of the set. If you never do a movie, it's like riding a race, a Formula One race, if you just have your driving license, basically like that. So I tried to do a first action movie in Holland. Then I went to Hong Kong to get experience. And I'm a little bit fortunate, to be honest, to fight a lot of action stars, like Tony Jaa, Donnie Yen, worked with Donnie Yen. I didn't fight him. Michael Zaror, Scott Adkins, Gary Daniels, Michael J. White, Steven Seagal. So the good thing is with this, they're all different. And I can compare them. How they fight, how they are on the set, what is the pressure, and it's very interesting, I think. And as an action actor, what we spoke about, we also have to adapt to them because they fight different, right? One is faster, one can get a small hit, one you cannot hit at all. So this is interesting as our job to adapt to them accordingly. What do they want from you?
So talk then about let's start with Jackie then. What were the demands on set for you? You show up and have a process, right? So what demands were placed on you, and how did that kind of fit in with your training that you had up to that time?
Okay, I like that question. If you look at my background, I was a big Jean-Claude Van Damme fan. You know, Van Damme is more like, right, one punch, 360 kick. There's no rhythms and stuff. What people don't know is that Jackie Chan makes choreo on the spot, right? So he said, like, okay, what are we gonna do here? His stuntmen come to him, show him a few combos, and okay, let's take this one. So they're gonna, he got ideas, and it's basically like this: 5 minutes before you shoot. Okay, let's do this. Ba 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 ba. This in this rhythm. You have to look this way, kick exactly there, go to this path, keep this character. This is information you get like 5 minutes. Let's do 10% speed. let's do 50% speed. Okay, let's shoot it. If you never did any movie, you have to deal with pressure and rhythms and combos and a different style because he's more kung fu. I was more karate, more like that. You have a lot to process. And nowadays, the difference with nowadays, there are workshops. And the stunt teams, they go into their warehouse, they have a workshop, they work on the choreo, they prepare, they previz, and they have a night to sleep about that. But for me, the first movie ever, it's like in 5 minutes you have to do combos of 10 to 15 moves sometimes, and that's quite tough. And some stunt guys always say, "Oh, he couldn't do it and stuff." But really, guys, be in my position and do this. This is tough. And I know you ever said, Eric, in one of the other interviews, like you know about the Hong Kong choreography, and once you know it. But first, you need to know, right? You need to know this process, the rhythm, and how they work. But yeah, Jackie Chan is my teacher. I mean, I never had this pressure in my life. So every movie after this, and the process on those movies were relatively more simple compared to what happened in Who Am I?
So, talk about that the rhythm that you were used to. Now, you come from a martial art background. There is rhythm in martial arts, right?
Yes.
If you were to compare your musical rhythm to his, how would you compare the two?
Okay, so Jackie Chan is more like one, two, three, pop, 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 like this, because of the now in my style recharge, I have that, but I'll get back to that later. I was more in my old style; it was more karate. So I did musical forms. It's more like I have the tiger, like bam, 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 like this. But it's not a speed up of rhythm. It's just the same kind of space between movements. It's something like that. Okay, sometime in karate you have like a fake move, puff, and then you punch. We have that, but the Jackie Chan thing is very different, and that's another level. If I maybe did kung fu, I was wushu, or I was Wing Chun, it would maybe be better. But the karate, it was, and he told me, don't use too much power. He said, just keep a nice speed and flow, and then you will even look more powerful. So don't do too much power and stiff. You have to let it go and be loose. That's what he basically taught me.
So can you give us some context then on the martial art culture that you knew in Holland?
Yeah, well, that's interesting because I did first I did judo, then Kyokushinkai karate. My master looked a little bit like Mr. Miyagi. This was always very. I was young. It was interesting, so it was just full contact Kyokushinkai with katas, and I did a freestyle form. So we make our own forms already, and then I did free fight MMA. It was the early days of MMA when the first UFCs came. So they started to experiment to mix everything up, like wrestling, boxing. My teacher was Penchak Silat. He was a cop, so we had all the locks. Later, this became very useful for me to be all around in movie fighting. This was good. This was a good thing. But still, there's not really rhythms, like Jackie Chan. I had a demo team, and I did movie fights with my partner, but it was more like Van Damme against Chuck Norris or something. It's more like a little bit like Mortal Kombat kind of stuff. We did that, but you cannot prepare for Jackie Chan. You cannot prepare for that. But so we already start to experiment with we call it freestyle karate, like on music, some moves from movies as well. And yeah, they kind of always laughed about me and my friend, like just do normal, stick to the style. But we were like, no, we want to experiment, we want to do cool stuff. So we were open-minded, like Van Damme said in Bloodsport, keep an open mind. That for any style. That was literally our example.
Right. So did you find that was a common sentiment in the Netherlands where, there was this willingness to be open to new ideas? And is that why Netherlands had martial arts from Asia in the first place?
Well, there are different reasons for that. we are very lucky actually in Holland. There are some key teachers, some renowned teachers who went to visit Thailand, Muay Thai. They came from Japan, like Luke Hollander. There were a few key people back in the days who trained with Oyama, Masuyama. They came to Holland and they started to open schools. So it was quite fresh. 50s, in the 50s, 60s, back in the days. And the same with Muay Thai. We have a guy called Tom Haring. He's like a coach in Amsterdam, Shakuriki Gym. And they were like 1-1 to Thailand almost. This was the best, almost like a direct line to the core, to the source. And so Holland is lucky with that. And because Holland, this country it's like a working country. There's not much to do. Like Thailand has much more entertainment. Holland is just you work, you sleep, and you go to bed, and the next day you're working. So, and it's cold. So people love to go indoor and train because there's nothing to do. So yeah, it sounds weird, but so there's a good kind of, like a discipline. And yeah, combined with those teachers, they brought some hardcore, they developed some hardcore fighters, like with good names, and they're famous all over the world, and they're really good.
Yeah.
Now the weird thing is, there's many good fighters, but there's no action movies in Holland, and we tried, but it's not there.
We'll have to touch on that soon, but I want to jump forward to Who Am I Again? What was the casting process, and why? How did you get the role?
Okay. Well, the casting process, it's like, this is like basically like your dream is happening. The dream has happened for me. There was no casting process. I was an extra, and in the local newspaper was an ad. Jackie Chan searches 3,000 extras for his movie because there's a lot of people in the background. I was like, and I've seen the applications. It's like crazy. I called the casting team, like, please get me in, like, and they got bored of me. They said, you know what, you become an office guy, 3 days work, be in the background. So I was in the background in Who Am I? You can actually see me.
Oh, really?
By the entrance of that building.
Okay.
Yes, you can see me with a suitcase in the background. So yeah, so
undercover before your invite. Got it.
Yeah. It's real. I mean, I'm there, and in the extra, in my look. So I was, we're living in this fantasy. What if Jackie Chan see me, right? What if I do a kick and he walks by, he walks past? What like maybe he will discover me. Of course, that didn't happen. And there was this Dutch stunt team, and they said, you know what? You have this record highest kick. I have like a record high kick, 11 feet, and I have a video of all those demos I did, and the musical form. They said, you know what? Talk to this Dutch stunt team. But the thing is, the Dutch stunt team, Jackie's demands are so high that even the Dutch stunt team couldn't fit. They were general stuntmen. They're not specialized in movie fighting. That's just one of their things. You have fire, car, right? High falls, all that. But they're not specialized in that. So they didn't do much. So they said to me, who are you? Literally, who are you? Like, jump from this building, and if you can do it, maybe we can get you something. They were just laughing, basically. But remember those guys. I will get back to them. Then I started to get desperate because I had 1 day left. And there's this bald guy. You know him, I think, from Wheels on Meals. The small guy, the bald guy in the Jackie Chan stunt team. And I just asked him, sorry, but I want to fight Jackie Chan. I was desperate. I just came out. And he said, you know what? Give me a show reel. I didn't even know what it was. So I sent a videotape. But the good thing is, you have to believe in destiny. I was a designer. In the night, before the last day, I made a cover, just like I'm an action star or something. And I put that in the video, those old cassettes. And me and my dad copy stuff and make a video. And I just gave it in the break the next day. So we were just eating lunch, and then the team called me from Jackie Chan. Hey, come to this room. And everybody was there. Jackie, all the coordinators, like 3 cameras from all the angles. Even my stunts was there probably. Said, okay, can you do what you did in that video? So I could do the leg holding. I can do section kicks, all that stuff. They said, okay. There's 2 stuntmen coming. One of them, he got hit and react and punch back. And I did it. That one I did good because it looks a little bit like the demo with my friend in the past. So they were like, okay, believe it or not, guys and girls, 5 minutes later, they measure like my measurements and stuff. I said, what's going on? They said, you get the final fight in the movie. You are the best guy of 20 guys doing auditions for this movie. You're getting the final fight. And I couldn't believe it, you know. But then the real hardships came. But that one, it was like a dream.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? The next week I was supposed to go on a holiday with my girlfriend. We had to cancel. She broke up. I lost my job.
Oh, no.
And some of my best friend left. And the Dutch stunt team who found out I got the part, they wanted to beat me up. For real. So, you know, something good always has another side.
Okay, so now I've seen my stunts. We all watched my stunts. There's this segment in there that focuses on you. And I remember watching my stunts after I had seen Who Am I? And I went back and watched the Who Am I fight, and I could count a handful of shots where you were doubled. For the most part, it's you.
Yeah,
you
right.
Seem to do just fine. Can you clear the record on what happened there?
Yes. Actually, one thing is twisted in Who Am I and my stunts and the movie. If you look really careful, my stunts is saying that Jackie got a little bit angry. I couldn't get the rhythm. And then they're going to take Brett Allen to do that combo, a very nice combo. He did really good, that opening combo. But in the real timeline, that combo was before Jackie got angry. They already shot that. They didn't even let me try that. So they used that later, like, oh, he wasn't good enough. Let's get this guy in. No, it is exaggerated. The next few combos later, then is the thing where Jackie had made a very long combo. The team of my stunts came to film, and it was like he started to get a little bit angry. Like, no, keep the rhythm, and don't come so close to me. And I get it, I really get it. But you know what? I think watching it back now, I'm a coordinator myself, right? Watching it back, I'm have my doubts a little bit. Like, of course, I had to learn, but if he could have helped me a little bit, like if I came too close, he could have slide back a little bit instead of, right? He could have helped me easily. But okay, they want it like that, and then you have to do it like that. So I take responsibility, but the sequence of events is a little bit exaggerated.
Yeah.
At the end of my stunts, they actually said on the set to me, Ron, you're actually very good. You're very good. You just need more experience. But they didn't say that in my stunts. They just leave it at the moment Jackie gets angry, and then next subject. And they because they didn't give the compliments they give later. Yeah. And so it really affected me a little bit, like, yeah, quite a lot actually. So I had to start basically my whole career from zero again after my stunts came out. But you know what? Sometime in life we learn the hard way. And yeah, it is like it is. I didn't know lawyers. I could maybe have sued them. I could do something. I was new. I just came from the egg.
Yeah. Okay. I encourage everybody to pause this interview right now and rewatch Who Am I? And really analyze what is going on there, because despite what my stunts portrays and, you know, the very misleading editing that they've used, that fight is mostly Ron. So congrats, because that is a keystone fight in Hong Kong cinema. So, and people by and large, I'll tell you, in my circles, they remember that fight as being great. We don't really remember the my stunts aspect of it. It's much more about like, you had a character, you had this vertical kick, we had the stopwatch, right? All the elements are there. So it's awesome that you came out the gate with that fight. So Much
Wow.
respect, Ron. So
Thank you so much. And what Brett did was actually amazing. He made it even better. So yeah, it's good. I think for the audience, it's okay. Yeah.
and people have to realize too that every single guest on this show and every interview will say that everybody gets doubled in Hong Kong movies. It doesn't matter. I mean, if your hair is off a little bit and they need the shot, they'll just put you out and get a Chinese dude to come in and double you, right? You see the other guys doubled all the time too, right?
All the time.
The other actor you see behind his shoulder, he's doubled by some other Chinese dude too, and we didn't make any bones about that, so we don't need to make bones about this one either.
That's
so
it. Yeah.
After Who Am I? What comes next?
Okay, so then came the promises, because I supposed to be in, what was it, Police Story 4 or something. There were more things coming. Sam Wong, the team member of Jackie, actually tried to split a little bit, and they tried to do their own movie. So we want to have you. You're a new talent. So I was excited. So I have interviews on TV, like, hey, I'm gonna go to Hong Kong. It didn't happen. He said there's contracts coming. It didn't happen. So I was like, what is this? And I was in the office, and nothing came. So after disappointments, being even on TV saying it, I was like, I have to calm down. I have to take action myself. One guy said, it's called Russ Price. This guy, Russ Price, he's also like an action actor. He said, you know what, Ron, if you're in Hong Kong, you're going to do stuff. So I put this in my mind. I saved money. I quit my job, another job, because they found out I wanted to play movies. So they didn't want me anyway. So, and he said, like, everybody's expendable. I said, okay, that's great to know, Okay. So I saved money. I got a few sponsors. I had just had money for 2 weeks. And Benny Chan said, if you're in Hong Kong in July, I can use you for Gen Y Cups. Yeah, I gave up everything. I went to Hong Kong. I said, Benny Chan, I'm here. He said, oh, sorry. The movie's delayed. I said, oh, no. And Hong Kong is expensive. So I didn't have money anymore. And one of the last days before I go home, I walk in Hong Kong. I'm just like, when with Jackie Chan, I have this fantasy. Like, everybody in Hong Kong is a kung fu guy, is a movie guy. So I try to do kicks on the street, like this aerial without hands. Maybe somebody sees me. It's just too much. But I was desperate. I see it's John Woo office. It's the office of, maybe you know him, Patrick Leung. Patrick Leung, he took over a little bit. It's the old John Woo office. And you know what? Nothing to lose. I just went in. I just knocked the door. And they were busy with a boxing movie. They say, are you a boxer? I said, yeah. I was the worst boxer ever. I'm more like a kicker, but I look Russian and stuff. So they got me. I said, well, I have to go back home. I don't have money anymore. They said, you know what? We give you some money. You just stay for 2-3 weeks, finish the movie. And then I could do the Benny Chen movie. Yeah, and then I could stay for the Tekken movie, Avenging Fist. So you see, destiny, guys and girls. Sometimes there's some magic going on. If you keep going, something will come to you.
Talk about the experience of working on Avenging Fist. Yeah.
Well, Avenging Fist was interesting, and Stephen Fung was there, and I had to fight Stephen Fung. And yeah, it was cool. I had to fight him 2 times. One time in Gen Y Cups, and one time in Avenging Fist. And it was like, it was like video game. I was very big, and then a shot later I was normal, and they just mixed it up. But it was so cool, the start of the CGI things, but still good action, still cool. And it was nice. It was like a platform, doing with some sticks. Okay, there was a wire, but for me this was great because after Who Am I, these were the first movies again, right? And so it was cool, but I haven't met Samuel. Yeah.
So you found that you were able to start adapting more to that Hong Kong rhythm that you had picked up from Who Am I on these Hong Kong films?
Yeah, I wasn't nervous like Jackie Chan. Like it was, you overcome those things, but you have to go through it. You can in life you cannot skip it. Sometimes when I train with people, they get nervous for me, but they said, "Oh, I put pressure." Donnie Yen puts pressure, but so after those years, yeah, it becomes like driving. You did the race. You can feel it more, and we're still learning these days. But yeah, you learn stuff, and especially when you love it. But don't expect someone just their first movie fighting Jackie is going to be easy. It would be an insult for Jackie, right? It would be an insult if it was that easy. Like it's not, it's not. But it was cool. Even fighting Tony Jaa is very cool. Like he also has a rhythm, but a little bit different. And yeah, it was like now we can focus on other things, like not on just remembering, but just on on the looks,
Uh,
on
talk about
character.
that. Yeah, talk about what that process difference is. So in Who Am I, you're thinking about this thing, but now you're thinking about this thing. Can you talk about what goes through your mind in the middle of a
Yes.
shot, right?
Okay. Now this is very interesting because some actors, for example, I see they don't do that, and again I'm learning this. I learned this in 26 years for myself, just based on all these movies. So you always have to think, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing in the fight? Like, I wanna punch his head off. I wanna get it. Like, yeah. Sometimes when it's too choreographed, you can see that they punch a little bit over. There's a small angle. It's not horizontal. It's a little bit up. They not go for it. So I have a trick to go a little bit down, a little bit, like a little bit off. So it moves like I'm hunting for him. All those tricks, and I really into it. Like I want to get this guy. So when you feel it, the audience can also feel it. But if you don't feel it, so you have to know, what do you want. If you just do choreo for choreo, to do choreo, it doesn't work. It has to be also tactical. Like, I'm gonna set him up. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna distract him. I'm gonna hit him there. And so you have to also play that you're gonna set him up, right? Not like punch him like like a choreo with that you can read it. It is, and some people also react too early, right? So they already start to duck before you even start. So it's very sensitive. This is milliseconds of reactions, and acting and reacting. It's both. Not only your actions, also your reaction. Sometimes a very big mistake I made for many years, and I want to tell the audience, if you're okay, Eric,
Please.
is that I reacted too strong. So this is very interesting for stunt guys to watch this, action actors. If you get hit in the first part of the fight and you already start to do like this, you know unconsciously this guy's going to lose. So you can build it. The first hit you're strong, but you still focus. Bam, a little bit. Pop, you come back. Right? At the end you can be more like this. But I see fights on daily basis where people already start to do like this. In the first hit, I know this guy is going to lose. So it's a lot of psychological aspects of a fight, right? To show things, reveal things. It's almost like acting, like a second layer of acting. It's also in a fight, and it's like that, and with tactics, yeah.
When you're working with Hong Kong teams and you're seeing Hong Kong stunt performers react,
Yeah.
do they follow this sort of I guess it's kind of a you're describing a sort of like what would you call it? Like a bad habit almost, because I see this in a lot of work as well, including my own, where I take a hit and I there's this rubber head thing that we do.
Yes, the rubber
maybe,
head effect.
yeah, maybe we think that that's like the way you should always react, like you said. Where do you think people pick that up from?
That's right. It depends on wrong examples. Even a stunt course can teach you the wrong way. Or if you learn from movies, you think, or sometimes you just think I have to give a big reaction, right? Because then the camera will see it. But sometimes it's also with acting. Even your eyes can tell a lot. Uh, I was overacting for many years, so I start to, like a laser, to put that, to concentrate that on small things, on the eyes, on this. Before my mouth was going everywhere. So the same with fighting. You can be So I'm really aware of this now, and I have like three levels. You know, the Terminator level where you get a little bit. It's only the head and shoulder a little bit, and the head, shoulder, and leg, where you really go out of balance. So it also shows the power of the opponent. So you can make him look good also, or look weak. Depends on how you react. Right? It's action reaction. So yeah, people should be aware of this. And I think some stuntmen they just do just one kind of reaction.
Hmm.
But there's more to this, and that's what I learned by seeing myself acting bad. Like no, this is too much. I'm too like rubber. I'm too rubber. It's not. I'm not a strong character here. What is wrong?
You know, what's interesting about that too is a lot of us. Well, I'm not really in this camp, but a lot of tall people. You're tall, and
Yeah.
big buff people. They'll watch Hong Kong movies and they'll watch 6 foot, 5'6" Asian guys moving a certain way, and they'll just sort of pantomime these moves. And then
Yeah.
when you see them up against a Chinese guy who's this tall, and you got this like huge guy reacting
Yeah.
the same way he does. Is that what you're talking about? That causes this weird disconnect with the audience? And do you think that those fights just don't work when you react like that?
Yeah. Well, you know what? Yeah, you have to create your own style. I'll get back to that later. You have to. Everybody is different, right? There's some very big bodybuilders. Some things just don't look good with them. Like if you try to do the Hong Kong stuff, a very good example is sorry to say anything, but for example, they try to do something with Mike Tyson when he fights Donnie Yen. They try to make Hong Kongify him a little bit, with this insert with the punches, him sliding back. But I think that didn't really work for him as much as the rough stuff will be working for him more. So they should do it maybe on Donnie, but not on Mike Tyson. I think that was a big mistake. That's what I think. So not all styles, even shooting styles, fit with everyone. Right? Yeah, because it doesn't match with Mike. You need more like a Rocky style, and then go to Donnie in the Kung Fu style. How cool would that be? Right?
Yeah, yeah.
Just an
That
example.
would have felt more like a conflict, right? It
Yeah. Yes.
kind of reminds me of like Samo did that really well with Ben Urquidez and Jackie, where Urquidez
That
has
worked. That
Urquidez
worked.
could like match the rhythm, but you could tell that he wanted something from that fight, and Jackie wanted something else, and they had two
Yeah.
different styles. And Samo found a way to kind of make that fit, and he was the expert at that, of putting those styles together.
That was amazing matchmaking. I
So
love that fight. So there's a reason for that.
talk about that.
Well, there's a reason but both he's also a little bit smaller, but anyway, he moves good. He's a real fighter, so he knows those. That's why it's also good to do real sparring, to feel it. Like he have this kind of movements, and that really adds to it. And combined with Jackie, it's such a good matchmaking. And Benny the Jet did so well. I think this is one of Jackie's best fights. Um, yeah, the rhythm, but there's also because also there is purpose. There's tactics in the fight. Like first he does this and hit him, then Jackie comes back. It's so cool. The story in the fight, the tactics. If it's just choreo, no, there's more to this fight. There's a lot of, you know, I'm getting you, now you're getting me. Like it's. They thought about this really well. Else it wouldn't work. It wouldn't be like this fight the way it is now.
You worked with Hong Kong action directors outside of Hong Kong. Then you worked with Donnie Yen. Talk
Yes.
about that experience and what that project was.
Okay. Donnie Yen. They called me. Actually, Bay Logan helped me to set up with Donnie Yen. He said, you live in Holland. You go back from Hong Kong. Actually, there's a project now in Germany. So Donnie Yen, their Puma. Um, Scott was actually involved, but Scott he was busy or had something with his manager. Said, Ron, you can do this, and just go to Berlin. And I met the team. Michael Woods, Michael Woods. Yeah, he's amazing, Michael. John Salviti was there, but he got something cut. He got his finger cut. So the thing was he couldn't double for the lead guy, Mickey Hart. So later I could double actually for that project for Mickey Hart as well. But first I had to do a fight. So Donnie was a little bit testing me. What I like from Donnie is I learned so much. Donnie is not telling you what to do 100%. What he's doing, I use that for every choreo I do. He just let the guys train. Go training. He's watching you. Do your best moves. So he's studying you. What are your moves? What is the way you're moving? What are your best kicks? What are your best punches? Then he said, okay, let's make a fight. Remember that move, and this move. These are the keyframes. We fill it in with other stuff. But let's do that breakdance kick. Let's do that high kick. Let's do that jump kick. So he actually optimizes you. The flow is open with what you can do. So now if I make a choreo with people, said, okay, show me your best moves. And they are so happy because they are allowed to do that. Some fight scenes, some actors, I can't even kick them, you know, because they don't want me to kick. But Donnie Yen is like, go for it. So that's what I learned from Donnie. Optimize everyone. He put pressure, which is okay. I like it because I was used to it from Jackie. And he said golden scissors. Do you know what means golden scissors, Eric? No? Okay, well, golden scissors mean if he directs something, he wants to have quality control. He don't want a German editor to touch it. He said, in a contract, 99% of what I shoot, I have to edit it. I keep the quality control because in Europe, you can make the best choreo. If it's in the hands of a wrong editor, it's done. And he knows that. So he was smart. Donnie's also smart putting himself in his own projects. So he directs it, he shoots it, he edits it. So that's a very big part why Donnie actually got more famous. He was in his own control. If it was shot by some Western teams, I'm not so sure, Eric, that he did it himself. He made himself. Partly for a big part. By applying those rules, like, look, you know, you can have me, but I'm going to edit this. So those rules, optimizing people, edit your own as much as you can, or at least give an example for how you want to be edited. I think that's a very good advice for filmmakers, and everybody will be happy.
So what comes after Der Puma for you?
So after the Puma, I came back one more time. There was a movie, Martial Angels, in Hong Kong. Hong Kong started to die. Like literally, there was one project, Ultraviolet. My friends Mark Redmond, he took Game of Thrones. Daniel were there, but it just, yeah, there were no projects anymore for some reasons. Well, I think you know more about that, like why this all happened. I hope not because of me. But because I went there. No, not joking, of course. But so yeah, I was back in Holland and I was in the office. Now, can you imagine after all those action in Hong Kong, being in the office with no windows? Man, my boss was gone. I was checking Hong Kong pictures. I wanted to see Nathan Road, the peak. I just wanted this feeling back. Yeah. So then later, a Dutch TV host said, you know, we have to make a TV series. Let's go to Asia. So we planned to go to Japan. Didn't work out. And one friend is a little bit mafia, but he said, I know some guys in Thailand, like some big group. They have 7-Eleven. They have all these branches. Maybe they will sponsor us for a TV series. And they said, okay, let's make a teaser. So we went to Thailand. And there was Tony Jaa coming up that time. And I saw Ong Bak. I saw, like, that's a cool movie. So where is Tony Jaa? You know, it's a little bit the same concept as with Jackie. You know, I was extra. Let's find him. Like, let's see where he is. So I found out some people, and they were shooting at nearby location. And I did the same thing. There was Pacha Pinkau, the director. Tony was busy. And I said to Pacha Pinkau, I said, sorry, my name is Ron. I'm from Who Am I? Jackie Chan. He said, I know you. That fight, you know, with the kicks. I know you. I said, can I show you something? And I showed him some combos. He said, sorry, but, you know, we already finished the movie. We just have a final fight, a group fight. Are you okay with that? But you know what? After 5 years, nothing. But I was 5 years in Holland after Hong Kong. I was so happy to do something again, right? It didn't happen in Hong Kong. I didn't know where to go. America didn't reply on my videos. I sent to Mortal Kombat, videos. They didn't reply. I was so happy. And yes, I could fight Tony Jaa, but they warned me. They said Tony Jaa is gonna hurt you. I said, come on, like I did free fight, I did full contact karate free fight. I'm okay, but definitely he's hitting hard. So on the set of Tom Yam Goon, they asked me like, can Tony hit you in the face? Like it's like the kick the moon twist, and then so it's some aikido first. I have a clip of it actually, and then spinning, and he goes the other way, and then he does a kick the moon twist in the face. I walk straight into him, and I took it a few times here. It was nice, a few times here. So we have some souvenirs, and that was basically the next step. And I never left Thailand. Yeah, never left Thailand. And then I found out Thailand became a little bit center of action in Asia.
So what then was it like being a foreigner in Thailand versus being a foreigner in Hong Kong?
Oh, that's a very nice question. Of course, people are very different. I think in Hong Kong, people are maybe more distant. Also on set, it's different. Thailand is they very almost too humble. It's always like Swadi Cup, and respect is very big. I mean, in Hong Kong is also respect, right? And there's a lot of discipline. Like you have to go this way. Thailand is a little bit more like they call it sabai sabai. So sometimes in movie projects you get a lot of value, but you always have to triple check. Like, is this happening? But it's quite cool. And you know what? That Thailand actually learned from Hong Kong. So back in the early 90s, a lot of Hong Kong teams shot in Thailand. And the Thai stuntmen like Panaritikrai and all these coordinators learned from the Hong Kong teams. Sang stunts. They did, and then even Mortal Kombat. That was later. Mortal Kombat came. The Quest, but that was a little bit later. So they learned all the basics actually from Hong Kong, and mixed it with their Muay Thai and the Muay Boran. And because of the fighting styles are different in Hong Kong and Thailand. Thailand is full contact. Hong Kong is more kung fu, right? So that's why also the stunts in Thailand are a little bit more hardcore. And I don't want to look down on, I mean, not hardcore in falls, because Hong Kong, I mean, look at Jackie Chan, right? They do crazy falls, but the Thai people try to do that also. And look at Born to Fight, right? With all these things. But when people, it's more like when people hit each other. I think Hong Kong's still number one when it comes to high falls and layered falls. But when hitting each other, Thailand is a little bit more tough. So you have to adapt. If I go back to Hong Kong, I have to touch a little bit softer. In Thailand, they kick you straight in the face for some takes.
So as a trained martial artist who had done kickboxing, did you find that transition to Thai action easier than the transition to Hong Kong action?
Well, there's another difference which gives this answer, because they're a little bit slower. So they're a little bit slower. It's not like they not have the rhythms like in Hong Kong. These rhythms, I rarely see them. And before a Thai guy attacks, it's like hui hui. So you almost can hear them coming, and it's quite slow. Sometimes I'm sorry, I'm a little bit waiting. Like maybe you can go faster, because if you're used to Hong Kong and you go to Thai, but you have to just more act like you take the hit, like boom, like you take the hit, and it takes more time to, so now I just found a way to deal with that. I just do two moves when they do one, so they can keep their own tempo. I just do two moves when they do one, and that can fix it.
How much of that is a product of their martial art, Muay Thai? Because
a lot. I mean, look for example, look at kung fu fights, right? Look at Muay Thai fights. They are more like this, and bam, bam, and then back, right? It's not like long combos like that, like in kung fu, with rhythms and stuff. Okay, they have tactics, and for example, Senshai is very good with that, but those are exceptions. But the normal basic Muay Thai, it's just take a hit, stop, maybe 1-2, maybe 1-2-3 maximum, and that reflects as you said, in the movies. That is right.
But you know what's interesting is when you watch like a real Muay Thai fight, the character in between movements is so interesting to watch because there's a lot of baiting, right? There's a lot of, smiling, I noticed too, in Muay Thai
Yeah,
fights. There's a lot of pretending that you're not hurt.
yeah, yeah.
Are they trying to convey that in action scenes?
Um, I have seen it. Yeah, I've seen it. Thailand, it's a little bit overacting sometimes in Thailand, especially from the TV series. So yeah. When they show it, they really show it big time. They just laugh really loud, like overly, like it's almost not real. And the problem is when I play those TV series, I also have to overact. It's not good for my acting. But yeah, they do it overly, but every emotion. So not only show that you not have pain, and sometimes it's just ridiculous. Tony Jaa does it in a way that it's method acting. So even if you don't know how to act, he's gonna hit you that hard. The way you react, it looks painful. It is real because it is real. You know. So with Tony Jaa, you never need to act because he just hits you. And really, like you don't Steven Seagal, you don't need to act. He just goes for it, and you're gonna feel it. Um, so yeah, with Hong Kong, maybe you have to put more when you get hit. You have to put more emotions in it. Um, but in Thailand, sometimes it's quite tough, and, and yeah, they also want to show they not have pain. That's right. That's right.
Is
Yeah.
it kind of reminds me of certain wrestling styles, like strong style
Mhm.
wrestling, where you see things like kabaddi in Pakistan. Kabaddi is this kind of like wrestling style in Pakistan where these big men, right, who
Okay.
slap each other and then they'll throw and then there's a lot of, and it's obviously choreographed. It's their WWE. And do you think that I'm curious what your thoughts are on the trajectory of Thai action after Tony Jaa, because I haven't really heard much from like Thai action stars since then. Jija had a moment,
Yeah.
but what do you think is going on in Thai cinema? Is there a limitation there? What's going on?
Okay, that's a good question. Uh, Tony was a little bit the lead guy here, like the example for a lot of Thai people. So when Tony Jaa came, he was the hero. And sadly, it's a little bit worse. I think he's working on a comeback right now. What for Tony Jaa don't work, and the same little bit what I said about Mike Tyson, is to let Chinese teams work on his choreo or shoot his fight scenes. In the past, there was Panaritikwa. He was the main coordinator. They had a stunt team of 10, 20 amazing stuntmen. I know all of them. They are really good. They were training every day, optimized for Tony Jaa, optimized camera work for his movements, and that worked out. Ong Bak and Tom Yam Goon, those two are the best, I think. The Protector and Ong Bak. But then Panaritikrai died. So this whole team spread out. Another thing happened to Tony Jaa. Everybody wanted to pull on him. So Tony Jaa got into a kind of depression. He left the movie set and he never came back in one movie called Ong Bak 2, I think. And I can understand that. Like it's money issues, it's a lot of things. And he's very Buddhist. So he couldn't handle the movie business in that way. As a fighter, yes, but there's more to the movie business, right? There's a lot of pressure. So he went to a cave and never came. He was there for like 2 months. Anyway, so those teams, after Panaritikoi died, they split up. Tony went to do more international things. He went to do Fast Furious. He did this. But I think, personally, they never make him look good as the Thai people make him. And they also Hong Kongify him. It doesn't work for him. And it's okay fights, but it's too many cuts. It doesn't work for Tony Jaa. And so now what he's doing now, I think he's realizing it. He's coming back to Thailand, get his old guys back, and now they start to shoot a new trailer for a new project with his own control. And I think that is a very good decision. I always said Tony Jaa has to come back to Thailand. Don't have small roles and be in this or that. I think they don't know how to make him look good. On the other hand, that's Tony. There's a lot of Hollywood movies coming to Thailand. Bollywood, Korean movies, China. Thailand is very interesting right now. It's very busy. Marco Zaror is here now. I'm going to do a fight with him. I did a fight with Martial Club. Tonight was a rap party, actually. So a lot of people coming here. The only thing is with Thailand sometimes, because if there's no Tony Jaa, they're going to look somewhere else. So John Wick, they're going to look John Wick. Or let's do John Wick style. It can be a little bit copycat style. You have to be careful because instead of preserving your own style and stand for it, they look sometimes too many like Marvel or John Wick, or I think that's not the way for Thailand. I think it's not a solution.
So before we get in, I want to get into that analysis. I do want to back up a little bit though, and you worked with some other big names. You've worked with Seagal. I mean, what in that timeline? Who was the next? What was the next big kind of action style that you found yourself working in?
So what happened with me is I had to develop my own fighting style for a few reasons. I fought all the action, not all the action stars, but a lot of action stars. And thanks for that, guys and girls. I'm very honored and thankful. It gave me a few conclusions because sadly it was great, but I got a little bit. I couldn't do my moves like with Donnie or with Jackie. I was always like, don't do this kick. I fight with Scott, great guy, but I couldn't do any kick. So people always see me training and they see what I can do, and then they see me in movies like you're just a shadow version of yourself. And of course, the star is the star, but I still believe in good matchmaking. Bolo versus Van Damme, Bruce Lee versus Chuck Norris. Let everybody shine. But this is a very big mistake of all those actors to only show off and don't let the opponent show stuff. I think that's a big mistake, but okay. So I always felt like I'm never, in my full potential anymore after Who Am I, after Puma. So, and it's going to eat at you. It's going to eat because in your heart you can do more. Maybe not for 2 years, maybe not for 5 years, maybe not for 10 years, but after 20 years, you get older. Then one guy said, stunt business, it's a little bit cutthroat sometimes. Ron is just the boxing bag of the superstars. He's just a boxing bag. I had a depression. I think oh my God. My dream was I wanted to be a kind of Van Damme with my own look and character. I saw myself like a mix, like a Dolph Lundgren Van Damme mix. So I had a breakdown, deep. What do I want in this business? What do I want for me? I said, you know what? I have to create my own style. And my friend Mark Stas, he created Wing Flow. So that was an example for me. You know what? I love these video games. I love those combos. Why I don't create my own style and just override everything? And when you do that, it's called recharge. Recharge means basically reinvent yourself. Recharge is lightning. Recharge. I saw a video game called Smite. It has Zeus in there. Electric. So what happened with electric? It bounces off sometimes. Chain lightning. So my concept is bounce off. So in karate, you take it back. So when you do this, the other hand goes back. Now in recharge, when you punch, it can go into another punch. Or a punch can go into a block. So it will be like puff, puff. Like it can keep, like a block can go into another block. So you can keep going. So you save time. So this way, I can be as fast as a Hong Kong person with their Kung Fu. And I start to test combos. I start to put it out. And you know what? The first thing what happens? The guy said, yeah, you are boxing bag. Oh, who do you think he is? Who do you think you are doing your own style? But that's in the first time. I said, okay, stick to it. Just do it. And keep developing. Video games, yeah, you're the guy, video games. You go forward 2 times. And you press the button. So I made this kind of flow chart of combos. So 2 times forward is bam, bam, bam. 3 times forward is bam, bam, bam with a kick. So I make these combo sets.
So explain then how does this integrate with, look, I mean, how did you use this the first time? Was it successful? Who did you use it with?
Yes. So, okay. Now, of course, we have to test, right? So I test with my students even. I think Bruce Lee also tested Jeet Kune Do basically with his students. I believe so. So I ask them half price. I just test all the combos with my students. And I start slowly to ask for it. Please, in a new movie, can I please try this combo instead of just this punch and duck? Because a lot of choreographies, I'm getting bored of it. Punch, duck, punch, duck. There's not rewinders. You have to give it flavor. That's what I learned. This is my conclusion after all those years. Give flavor to it. Have your own style, identity, character, like video game characters, right? So I asked, like, can I use it? And the response was great. This is original. This is cool. I just did a fight with Martial Club, right? They are very creative. They said, I like those combos. Use all of them. They just let me do everything. And that fight is very sharp because I'm optimized. It's fast. They are fast. So this is new stuff, something original, something new. And I don't want to copy. I always, of course, we inspired by stuff, but we still give it our own flavor. And I test it with a K1 fighter. TJ, he's a cool guy, K1 fighter, with Kung Fu, with Mark, with my students. I test it against many styles. Does it work or not? So the combos I make have to have two requirements. Number one, does it look good for camera? Right? Does it look good? Number two, is it tactical and does it work in real? And if they met those requirements, I'm going to use it. And that will be a combo. I make it a logo, like the shield breaker. So I make a shield. This is the shield breaker combo.
Do you how do you then use that so you're going to look very good doing that? Is there a concern for the other party that you're going to outshine them if you develop this very complex system where you're moving like a Hong Kong style fighter, but this person is moving like an American, this person's moving like a Thai fighter? How do you bridge that gap?
Yeah, that's right. And they have a little bit problems actually to adapt to that style because they've never seen it. So what I have to do is basically double their move. So if they have a certain speed, I can be double. It's like, because I can do two moves in one. So for example, one guy makes a punch. When the punch coming, I can do boom, boom. I can do two and block his punch. So I have to a little bit help them and adapt them with this. So yeah, it's not too easy for them. But also I found it very compatible. So whatever they attack with, I can reply. So I tell them when we make a fight, please, you just do your combo. Don't change it to me. Do your thing. I reply on it in a recharge reaction or recharge block. But you just finish your combo till the last move. And then I take over in my style. You just need to do this to help me a little bit. And then it's like jigsaw sets. So it's not one by one. It's more like 3 by 3 or 4 sets of 5. And that's how we both can shine. That's what I want to preserve that. I don't want to make them look stupid. Right?
Yeah, it reminds me of there was this very kind of standard, sometimes it was kind of cheap, method of doing blocks in older Hong Kong films, like in the 78 to 80 era, where a punch would come and there would be a block and then there would be a second block, and they you're kind of like getting a 2-for-1 deal where you block it and then you do this, and that leaves the other person with their fist out, but you tend not to look at the guy holding his fist out. You're just looking at the dude who's going bang, bang like this. And so the eye is always kind of busy going back and forth. And so they would do these like double blocks all the time, right?
Yeah, like swipes.
Yeah, and so the eye would kind of jump back and forth. Whereas if you were to somehow be able to see them both at the same time, it doesn't look that impressive. Or if you're only looking at the attacker, what you're seeing is this. Right? You're just
right.
It's like half as fast. So is that it seems like that's sort of what you're doing, is you're drawing the eye to an additional flavor for you so that you don't have egg on your face, right? Like what you're saying, you're not waiting around. And this is something I think that this, like, as a philosophy, is valuable to stunt performers, where how do you eliminate egg? It's always the question with stunts, right?
That's it.
And there are many philosophies about this. In Japan, they have an entire, they had like the Toei stunt team would train what to do so that you don't step on each other's feet while you're waiting, right? And the
Right.
Japanese chambara background stuntmen are some of the best actors you'll ever see. You look
Yeah.
at any one of
Yeah.
them and you're like, man, that guy really looks like he wants to kill the hero, but he can't do it yet. You just buy it. There'll be 20 of them and you'll buy it. And he's at a cheap fight. You buy every one of them. So you're what I'm just trying to like distill this down into like making a stuntman's action style essentially.
Yeah.
So that you
Yes.
don't have egg, but you also don't outshine the lead actor because that'll put you out of a job, right?
That's right, and that's very dangerous, and then you don't get the job. So sometimes being too advanced, you have to, also calm down a little bit. That's right. And by the way, it's not only about speed, right? Because you also need your moments to pop up, and then you also need a big move. So it is these rhythms are coming back actually, and also I learned creating recharge. I learned a few things actually what Jackie Chan taught me in the past. I almost relearned it, and that is to use body weight in it. So it's when you do movements, I learned to work with my body and like experiment with it, like using the shifting weights and having more rhythms and tempos to sell certain highlights of those combos. You need that. So what I your first question, what I like to say is for every stuntman is watching, there's two things you can do. There's more things you can do, but get comfortable in a stunt team, right? And just get your work, do your jobs, and make good money, because especially in the US. But sometimes I see people start to forget their own dream because they're getting so comfortable in the good money. If you work on a Marvel movie, right? Getting so comfortable and be with the team, driving a car, having a house. I have seen people giving up on their initial dream to be an own character and your own action hero, star. I've seen some people become coordinators, some people they disappear, while they maybe still could have done it. And 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 so be very aware of not being too comfortable with only being in a group. Always remember what is my initial dream. And because for me, I felt like I want more, right? And I think I can do this. I'm still flexible, and I don't want people to call me a boxing bag.
So when you talk about not being too comfortable, don't give up on your dream of being a character. Have you seen this play out with other action stars that you've worked with? Has that been their success story as well?
Yeah. They always had to go their own way a little bit, to stand out. There's no other way. I think that happened. Like Van Damme, he moved to America. Like those, for sure, they went to. I think even Donnie in his past, I think he had to reinvent himself. He went a certain way. He reinvent himself. So recharge is basically also reinvent, and action stars have to work on themselves, even existing stars. The problem is if you do movies back to back, there's no research time. So you need that also for your next movie to come with new stuff. Because if else every movie is going to be the same, and that is very dangerous for some actors if there's no research time. So the research time, you're in between projects, is as important as a movie itself. You need to keep going. You need to develop. You need to grow as a martial artist, and yeah, so that's important. So with actors, sometimes they don't have research time. So if you less famous than them, but have a little bit more time, then you can actually, also get really a good level. And theoretically, you could also do those things if the circumstances were right. If you have an investor, if you have, of course, and that is, of course, not easy. And a concept. You need to have concept.
Yeah, research
Yeah,
is obviously very critical. Have you seen research pay off with other action stars that you've worked with?
yeah,
And how
I
so,
did.
and who were they?
Look at Tony Jaa, right? They prepared, like I think it was like a few months for that scene in Ong Bak when they went to the streets. That was, man, they prepared for that. They wanted to make something special, and they had the chance, so let's do it. And they had time. money is time, time is money sometimes. So they had time to, to do this. So they made it really special, and they researched like what can we do to make this cool. So it really pays off. And the problem is sometimes when movies are back to back, like the days are back to back, and there's not too much time to do workshops, and even with high budgets, it's not going to be good. I give you one example. Triple Threat is a great movie. I love Jesse Johnson, Jesse, and we have the menu. We have all the ingredients: Tony Jaa, Michael Bisping, Scott Atkins, Michael J. White. I was there. There was Jija, all the ingredients, and it was a great. It was like all the flavors were there. Then we had coordinated team. We only had a few hours rehearsals for each fight, and of course, as a coordinator, it's hard to handle, and the flavors didn't come out. So for example, Iko always needs his penchak, right? So I would say let him do his thing. Tony, let him do his thing. But the fights got a little bit generalized into a little bit more like flattened out. So the flavors were not there. There was no time to create it. And with that potential and that investment money, right? Time is also important. And it didn't came out, I think, as it could be because of it. It was a good movie. I'm happy with my fight. But it could have been twice as good, to be very honest with everyone.
Yeah, this is a continuing problem in America, not just in Hollywood films, but even when you make an independent action film now, they think that, okay, well, since Hollywood, well, the big Hollywood films get months to shoot, right? That's the thing. Like John Wick, they take their time.
Yeah.
But kind of anything south of John Wick,
Yeah.
you're not going to have that much time. You're going to have 25 days tops, right? And then when you're in that kind of like $2 to $4 million range, you're pressured
Right.
to do it in like 15 days. And like you said, Triple Threat,
Yeah.
you get 2 hours to shoot a fight, and the fact that the Triple Threat fights work is kind of amazing because people knew what happened behind the scenes on that. Like that is a crazy coordination effort, right? So
Oh
much
yeah.
respect to it's just a product of the limitations that were imposed upon it. But the thing is that
Yes.
I think that when people then set out to make an action film, they look at films like Triple Threat and they say, okay, that was made in 15 days, so let's just do an action film in 15 days also, without thinking like,
Yeah.
look, the end fight of Flashpoint took 2 months. Let's take 2 months to make our whole movie. Nobody even really, and then you build your structure around that. Now, is that like, what is the production model in Thai action films right now? Is it more like that, like quick kind of like get it done fast American style, or do they take their time still?
Well, the problem is when foreign movies come here, they shoot here, right? They travel and they have to be here a certain time. So we have certain amount of days. Luckily, with Marco's movie, Marco Zaror has a movie here. We take quite some time. Marco really stresses out. Look, we have to really develop those fights. We have to do it good. I want a good concept, and we don't do this. We don't rush this, and I like that. And he also someone who gives other people space. He let me do my things. He wants to do his things, and we make each other look good. Marco is top in that. Really, I have to say that. And Timman, by the way, Triple Threat is also great, but yeah, he just couldn't. He didn't have the time to do it. But Timman is also, he's a genius. But Marco, back to Marco. Um, so yeah, that's the thing. It's just the time they hear. But the Thai teams, they develop. They take more time. They are here. They're training anyway. They just train every day. And if I have my own project, for example, next year, I will start working on the fights right now, like the concept of the fights. I will. Time is money. I will write it already. Yeah, preparation is half the work. And in the worst case, people prepare on the shooting days, and then they try to save money. Like, let's not do workshops, let's not do rehearsals. But then you lose money by saving money because the whole crew is waiting, right? And you still have to make a choreo. Better have those rehearsal days for half price because it's half price, right? For the rate for the stuntman. Better have them and shoot faster than you know what I mean.
So, can you talk more about some of the other stars that you've worked with and what their process was? You've worked with Steven Seagal, for example.
Oh yeah.
What is his research? Does he come up with it on the spot? And you spoke briefly about, you don't have to
Yeah.
act when you're around him. But I'm more interested in the
Right.
process and what the day to day,
Okay.
showing up on set and the process of coming up with the action scene was like.
Yeah. Okay. Now with Seagal, he's not really like having workshops or so. What he does do is test you. Like, hey, I want guys to react good. I'm gonna do shit. I do this. I'm gonna do this. I just want you to react good, whatever I do. So let me test you. So he's coming to you, grabs your wrist. He's gonna really twist them all directions. Luckily, I'm flexible, but the producer was next to me. I heard something popping. I was like, okay, he really tests you. He might even hit you in your manhood to test. And then on set, he just say, yeah, I'm gonna grab you. I'm gonna bring you there. Just follow me. Uh, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna hit you 3 times in your manhood. I bring you there, and you just go with it. And if you don't react, I'm gonna hit you for real. Okay, that's good to know. That calms me down. So yeah, it was almost on the spot. But Aikido, it's not too complicated with rhythms, and he just takes over, and you have to react a lot. Actually, many people think Seagal is he's a little bit sarcastic, but actually Seagal is quite cool. I have to protect him a little bit. Seagal is quite a cool guy, guys. So I know some guys look down on Seagal. He's quite cool. He have just a certain way of, he enjoys to to test a little bit.
Where do you think that thought comes from stunt performers? I mean, we've heard the horror stories, but I
Yeah.
mean, maybe that was back then. You know him now. I mean, you worked on a film with him in 2016, 2019. Is he more open to input? Like what is cool about Seagal?
What's cool about Seagal is because he talks cool. Hey, he whispers always like, hey, let's do this, let's do that. Put blood on my shirt, like this. So he's quite cool, and yeah, he just tests you. But you know what? In the real take, believe it or not, it is less power. He's more controlled. But when he tests you, I think it's just like when you go to university and you have to go to some hardships, and they test you first, like how tough you are. The student groups. It's a little bit like that. But after, it's okay. Actually, my teeth was broken a little bit from one hit with a plastic gun, but I didn't tell him because I didn't want to disturb the shooting. And he told me that one time he told me he has like a new jacket. He said, I don't want any blood on my jacket. Because he gave me a punch like this. I said, no problem, I'm okay. So I had blood in my mouth. He hit me. But the problem is when you do this, it's a little bit of a, yeah, it's coming back a little bit. It's not just this, right? So you, boom, so a little bit came back. And I was still with my face down, and I hear some growling, like a growling, like this. I was like, no, please don't tell me it's on his suit. And there was blood. There were two big splatters on his new suit. And he left like to the makeup, like damn, like there's blood on my suit. But he is okay, he is okay. They cleaned it. It's, yeah. Same with Michael J. White. I made a joke with Michael J. White. Maybe I can tell that. It's a funny one.
Please.
Michael Michael J. White. I was sitting next to Michael J. White in Triple Threat, and my I'm not American, and you might hear I'm not American. I'm Dutch. I'm not English. So some words might be a little bit different. We talk about spiritual stuff, auras. So I'm next to Michael J. White, big guy. Yeah? Everybody was he was one of the toughest guys on set. They were really like careful with him. But we got along. I said, Michael, actually right now I'm penetrating you. And he said, what? And he stood up. He said, what are you saying, Ron? I said, I'm penetrating you now, Michael. And he I thought like, what's happening? I thought we were friendly. And the people were a little bit scared. Like he might, he was standing like, what do you want? I said, yeah, I'm penetrating you, Mike. And I tried to say, we spoke about aura, aura, energy shield, field.
Yeah.
When I sit next to him, it overlaps, it blends like that. It's like penetrating his aura like that.
We
So
get it.
I explained later. He got it, but it was he stood up. He was like, "Hey, what do you mean? Like penetrating? What do you mean?" Like,
That's great.
But okay, we can make mistakes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think good people will allow a mistake to pass, right?
Yeah, it's a joke, it's funny, but it really happened.
So yeah, I was thinking, when you're talking about research and taking time in between movies,
Yes.
Jackie and his team, Jackie does a lot of movies, and I always wonder, like, where does this guy find time to do research?
Yeah.
Did you get to experience his research process during
Yes.
Who Am I?
Man, your questions are so good because this is exactly interesting. In Who Am I example, right? Because I was there. He has like three main coordinators and 4 or 5 like big stunt guys, like high up. Like Andy Chan was there. Andy Chan, great guy by the way. I'm still in touch with him. Sam Wong, Shangman Ching. They were all high up. So basically, they go to another uh, like a part of the location. It's like, what is next? We literally moved from spot to spot. What is next? Hey, there was a pole, or there was an edge. What can we do with this? So those guys start to think. Of course, Jackie as well. Like, and they give him like ideas. We can do this, we can do this, we can do this, and Jackie chooses, and combined with his own ideas. So that's how they move fast, and they have many people, creative people, thinking like what to do. And then that's why he moves on the spot. It's nothing is planned up front. Maybe just the main concept, like with the jacket, maybe just conceptual. But the fight itself, no. Now we're in the bar. Okay, let's duck under. Let's go over. So also as actors, you have to adapt quick because they just make it up and you have to do it. But yeah, but he has multiple guys, all feeding him with ideas, and it's a fantastic team. I said his team is part of his success. It's not only Jackie, it is the whole team, and they are so cool. That's why the Jackie Chan team is famous. They're famous because they really work hard, they train, and you see those trainings with Brett Allen, right? That video clip, like those behind the scenes, they are like the top team. Like that's what you need, and you can do any movie with that. Whatever the story is, you have a team like that, you can move mountains.
When they would bring ideas back to Jackie, did they bring video footage? Did they just tell him the idea? Did they write it down?
I've never seen anything written down. Back in the days, they didn't have really too many phones with videos. It was maybe like the old Nokias. It was still in 1998. So nowadays they would do it. But nowadays they will have that. They will do some combo, shoot it quickly, and show it to Jackie, right? Like this is what we think. I think they will do it now. I've seen a lot of people doing that. But back in the days, it was just showing. Okay, show me. Pop, pop, pop. No. Up, up, up. Yeah, that one is good. Okay. How can we make this longer? Like that. Like that. They just show him.
So nowadays, like you just mentioned, everybody has a phone. It's very easy to do Previz, and Previz comes in all different colors. You can do Previz beforehand. You can do Dev Viz to get a project. You can do Set Viz on location, and it's extremely easy to do. Do you use Previz, and do you find benefits from it? And are there any costs to using Previz? Are there any problems with doing Previz? Like, are there negative side effects of doing Previz?
Negative side effects. I can't think of it. Yeah, well, people can get hurt when you experiment with stuff, maybe. But negative, no, I think it's always useful. I think it's very good to be also more relaxed about the fight, to overthink. And sometimes when you see the Previz, you said, hey, my character is not good at this moment. I have to work on it. This is too quick, or the moment is too quick. You can't see me. So it's very good to analyze yourself, and it's a very good thing. It's like a mirror. You need it, and also for the other guy. Like now you duck too early. Now you need it. I think it's very good. And they say better. How you call that? Better prevent than heal, right? So better prevent before shooting to have it right, than heal afterwards in post with some effects or speeding up stuff. Or yeah, I think Previz is very good. I love it. I wish we had it in Who Am I?
You make a lot of references to video games with
Yeah.
combos
Yes.
and whatnot. Did you play fighting games growing up?
Yes. Well, there is, I have a few here, but there's like, I like, it's not a famous one. Actually, I like Dead or Alive. There's a Bruce Lee character called Jian Li, and there's a ninja called Hayabusa. Now, Hayabusa have all these breakdance sweeps and this 90 like move upside down. This inspires me. And the Bruce Lee combos, you have some very good, sharp combos with good rhythm. And combined with his sound and look, those two characters I'm inspired from. Combined with Pencak Silat, karate, a lot of martial arts, this gives me ideas. And yeah, it's based on those video games. I like Street Fighter as well, Tekken, Mortal Kombat, but still, Dead or Alive, I think it's a hidden gem. Check it out, guys. They call it combo challenge. Check any character, search for combo challenge, and see all those cool combos. And they're building and having more different finishing moves and different options. And like the way I analyze a fight in a fight scene. When we do choreography, I can go left, I can go right. Right? You said you don't want this, okay? Well, no problem. Then I go this way. Is it okay for you? That's how we do it. Like a video game decision map, which translates in the controls. You know the programming, right, of video games, right? Like it's exactly like this. How we create our style. It's like video game planning.
I think the part where I find, because I motion capture game combat systems all the time, one of the places where animators lean on martial artists the most is in making combos. So
yeah,
for any stunt performer, martial artist looking to get into motion capture, not just performance capture for acting. I mean, like the motion capture where when you push a button, something happens. That's like a very different kind of motion capture. Anybody wanting to get into that, be prepared to be able to come up with combos. And there's a lot of metrics and whatnot involved in that. But what I'm interested in understanding is how you take combos from games, which are very fast. When you motion capture a combo in a game, it's like under cranking from 12, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's
fast.
true.
And so it doesn't look
right.
the same. Yeah. So how do you adapt something like a video game combo to your own style?
Yes. I have to apply it to people, and I always have to of course I have to watch those videos on 50% speed, because as you said, yes, because of the controls, right? If you press buttons, if it's too slow, you will always be too late. I think that's the reason behind it, right? That it's fast. So I watch them at 25%, 50% speed. I analyze the movement, and I said, from this I can make this out of it. But based on real tactics, I can grab someone now. I can punch under. I can go over, and I can see it's already start to flow and bounce. So combined with own ideas, it becomes a mix. And believe it or not, if I tell you that when you start developing this, it almost comes from the universe. New ideas will come, and you just record it. Like this bounce from the concept, because you need to have a concept. It bounce. So when I punch, it bounce. Woof. It punch, bounce, elbow, like this. So let's just record this. And after every training in the night, I train in the night, I put it on the computer, analyze all those combos. This is a cool one. This doesn't work. It is too slow, or it's not aesthetic. Right? Video games have to be aesthetic.
Do you think that the audience today might be looking for more video game-like action in action movies?
Yes, they do. Only sadly, I think some stunt teams, to be very honest, don't translate it so well. So I don't give any names, but there are some recent movies like video game based movies. I think they're nice with effects and water, ice, whatever, fire, all that. But the combos itself, I think it's not optimized. I think they can go way more beyond, way more another level. And yeah, I can feel that, and that's what I would love to contribute to, even to a video game, to bring it back to a video game, and be a character, or do a video game movie, and have those combos, deliver them,
Yeah,
not as a copycat, original.
I totally agree with you. I think that there have been some great video game adaptations to films that avoid that. They don't touch the combo stuff because they know that like that's like a different specimen of performer that can do that stuff. In fact,
Yeah,
like if you were to do like Street Fighter the movie in 1995, like there is no such thing as a stunt team who could do Street Fighter combos in 1990. This doesn't exist. That language is not around yet.
right, right.
And you know, like maybe it requires a certain kind of VFX, maybe it's like a different way of even thinking about movement. It just wasn't around.
Yeah,
I'm with you. I think that you know there might be a way to make that
yeah,
into live action, but I do think at the very least you need, if you're going to do a video game adaptation now, I think that the best example of this is Tekken. Oh my gosh, Blood Vengeance. I can't remember what it was called. It's a Tekken animated film, and the end fight, because it's all CG. That's the thing. It was motion captured,
yeah,
and they
yeah.
animated it to look like Tekken. And
Okay, okay, yeah,
the fighting was just phenomenal. That end fight is phenomenal. And short of that, like it's kind of risky doing a video game adaptation because if you're going to
yep,
do the combos, okay, then people
yep,
are going to start. Then the players who
yeah,
watch this are like, oh, cool, he's doing Sub-Zero's combo. It doesn't
yeah,
quite fit. And then they got to bring it back with a moment. Okay, but you're back. You're losing. Okay, you got to keep bringing back moments. If you can't do the combo, just don't do them.
yeah,
Stick to the
yeah, yeah.
fatality. Right?
Yeah, and then they hide in effects. Okay, let's just do the ice effect. Let's do this. It's cool,
Yeah.
but that's more like a final move, whatever. But yeah, you still need to have the core of it. There's two fight scenes I like, and that comes close as quite close. You know, Ken versus Ryu. There was this Street Fighter Assassin's Fist. Ken versus Ryu with a nice song. I kind of it's kind of motivating. And there is, you know, the Real Deal stunt team, the Real Deal action team. They did a movie called Plan B, and for their movie they had promo clips, and they had three fights from a video game. Uh, Chai is his name, and
Mhm.
Jan. They were fighting, and it's very cool. He was like this Bruce Lee guy, and they really filmed it the way almost like a real video game. That was quite close. If they did Mortal Kombat like that, and they said, "Oh, we did it just simple, you know, we shoot it very simple." I said, "Man, that was really cool." If Mortal Kombat or another movie was like that, half of it already would already be great. For me, as a as a lover of this, as an admirer of video games, like
This is something that you in motion capture you run into this a lot too, where you know I'll be brought on like on God of War or Mortal Kombat 11 or the new one, where you'll be asked to do the in-game movements, but then you'll be asked to shoot the cinematic. And I'm not going to name games that the ones I just mentioned are not like don't apply to this, but I've worked on games where I do the in-game movement and then that's one team. And then I'm brought back to do the cinematics and that's a totally different team. And the two have never talked. It's almost like they don't even interact. And so even the cinematics in games sometimes don't even look like the game. The characters are doing these weird moves that are not in the gameplay. It's really slow and kind of gummy. The action is much more predicated on like cool camera moves and stuff. So the game kind of becomes two different styles of action. Maybe gamers are cool with that. I'm not sure. But it seems to me, my theory would be that gamers are getting more in tune with the gameplay part because gameplay is advancing so rapidly, but cinematics are not. Like gameplay cinematics have not really advanced much beyond like really good motion capture and really good virtual camera, you know, and good virtual production and whatnot.
work together more. Yeah, they should work together more and get this right. It would be so cool because a lot of things have not been done yet. If there is a team right now who's getting that right, I think they can score a big hit. If they get it right the way we have it in our minds, right? They can score a big hit.
So I want to do a new segment called How You See It. Talk about something like, JCVD versus Chong Li and Bloodsport. What do you think? And this, maybe it's good that we don't watch these right away and we just sort of remember, we just think about what we remember from those scenes. What do you see when you remember that fight?
Okay. Now, if you ask me another question, what do you see? What do you see if you remember a Marvel fight? I would say nothing. What do you see if you remember a Van Damme film, Bloodsport? I will say everything. Why? Right? That will be part of the answer. So both they were characters. Both were characters. Both were different. They were both as good. This was one of the best matchmakings ever. Van Damme versus Chong Li. They both look good. They're both characters. They're both okay. Bolo was mean, and Van Damme was a good guy. It just worked out. The light was amazing. The pens, the whole atmosphere, the pacing. Of course, now if you watch it nowadays, it's maybe a little bit slow compared to what we used to. But still, it is I call it a rewinder, a movie you want to see again. I have seen this 200-300 times, at least. An average Marvel movie, one time, okay, I don't need to see it again. To be very honest, even I'm very sorry, guys. I don't want to disappoint you, but even
John Wick, be brutal. We want that. We want the honesty because we can't get honesty on social media these days.
Yeah. John Wick, all the stunt guys, I love you, but for me to watch it again for the fights only, no way. It's not like Van Damme. It's not even like Rocky. Rocky, the choreography is quite normal, but the whole build-up, the matchmaking, the sweat, the training sessions, the build-up towards this fight, right? The motivation to fight, the build-up towards the fight. It's so beautiful. It is art. This is real art. It's a beauty. And when Van Damme get this powder in his eyes, right? And it goes back to his training, right? When he catch the fish, when he's blind, Van Damme. It's just, and then the music to it. They put effort in the music. It's amazing.
Let me ask this: as a stunt team, if you're going onto a film, whatever this film might be, maybe you're going onto a Marvel film or whatever it might be, you are within a framework of production now.
Yeah.
And
yes. Yeah.
Your action might be phenomenal. People may not see that, right? So, what advice do you have for stunt performers going into, for example, Hollywood or even Thailand, like you mentioned? What can they do?
Well, I think not much because there's so much. The people above you are so strong and powerful. You just have to do certain things. I know, for example, they're very good teams like 8711. Those guys are really great. They are great. Those performers there. If you know what they can do, they are the best. They train. They start in the morning with BJJ. They do tricks. They film. They the whole day for the whole week. There's no one like that. But the thing is, can they expose themselves? Sometimes I see them in the background. They are, hey, John Wick, that's the guy I know. He gets 2 hits, finish. They are not in full potential. Those guys should do their own movie. Like really, of course they make the money and they work on big movies for credits.
I see what you mean. I think that when people watch a film like John Wick, they remember moments, and this is a very American way of filmmaking that I think that that team has tapped into, which is we have these huge set pieces. We have this scene is about dogs. This scene has a horse that's kicking people. This scene is a chase on horseback. And this scene is on this scene has shotguns, right?
Yeah.
Now people call it shoe leather, we call it choreo. Those moments that kind of like connective tissue. I think guys like us, we can be very critical of those things, and that helps us better our craft. Do you think that and I'm the same way where I'll actually sometimes ignore the moments and just be watching connective tissue. I'll watch guys in the background because that's me, by the way. Like that's me back there, right? I forget the fact that the audience is watching Keanu. They're not watching me.
Yeah. We're watching other things.
We're watching everybody else so that we can improve our craft. but
Yeah,
the audience is not watching them, right? Like
that's right.
you could probably edit John Wick to just show background guys, and it
Yeah, that's right.
wouldn't be as good, right? You edit the movie, if you were to crop out all the stunt guys and just have John Wick in the middle, that film would be probably almost as good, right?
Yeah,
It would be
yeah,
almost as good because again,
yeah, that's right.
that's where the eyes
I
are.
agree.
So
Yeah.
when you do you think then that, because I think that this is the reason also why people remember John Wick, is because there are these moments that I think sometimes the Marvel fights aren't capturing these moments very well. I don't understand Marvel fights. Um,
Yeah.
this might run afoul with a lot of people who work on these fights, but do you think that people are able to draw moments from Marvel fights that maybe you and I are not looking at, for example?
Maybe they do. Maybe they do. But for me, there's no rewinders. Only one time, uh,
Wonder
yeah,
Woman?
Gal
Right.
Gadot. Yeah, yeah, she Wonder Woman. Exactly. I think one of the first ones when she walked. There's a few moments I remember, but for the rest, all the Marvel movies, there's nothing to remember. It's maybe because the cuts are too quick. It's very good angles actually, but it's too quick cuts. So there's no. Then I would prefer 300. Remember
Right.
that long scene when they throw the spear, take out the sword?
Sure.
That was a masterpiece.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then I would prefer that
And I
above
think
all
that
the Marvels.
Yeah, and I think that this is also why people they watch John Wick for the slower edit, because you can sit there and watch Keanu. And now
Yeah,
that's a risky kind of filmmaking, by the way. It's very risky. And all Japanese filmmakers know this. And Hong Kong filmmakers knew this too, because what Hong Kong filmmakers do is they follow the stuntman down, so that when the actor does this and
yeah,
the stuntman falls, they follow the stuntman down. You get to kind of forget about everything else for a second. The John Wick
yeah.
style, the stuntman falls and Keanu's still on camera right here. And this guy's still
Mm,
on camera too. It's extremely risky. And so the audience is able to kind of focus on moments, and they can like put things together better. And I think that that's an interesting point you're making about Marvel movies editing too quickly. It'd be really interesting to shoot a Marvel movie like John Wick and see what happens.
yeah, yeah.
If that's even
Okay.
possible.
Yeah, I wonder if it's even possible. Yeah, yeah, but maybe yeah, should be possible theoretically. Um, yeah. By the way, about John Wick, I do like the library scene with the books and the knives because you know the concepts. That's what can save it. The conceptual things. What you said, the dogs. That's what you mentioned. So that's what you remember.
Yeah.
The concepts are good. Some moments.
When you look back at your own work, whether it's with Tony Jaa, whatever it might be, what do you look at?
I look at a lot of things. I look at character. I look at moves. I look at moments. And for me, you can tell I have a few good movies, but I also have a few movies which I think like, oh my god. So I look at, yeah, you look at yourself also. You look at the whole thing. I found that when the story is good and the fight is good with good music, it makes it much better. It's those are very good. But to be honest, our own projects I did with a cinematography in Bangkok, our own projects and fight scenes with stuntmen we just did by ourselves. It's for me it's better than the movies. I'm very sorry, but only one movie is called Brothers. It's so good, so emotional that movie. When we fight and it's like a remake of Warrior, and I kick the father, and then the father comes back to his son. It's so beautiful during the fight. That there's some emotion to it. My parents were crying when they see it. That's what I like. But yeah, to be honest, compared all those fights with our own projects, I think we look better in our own projects. That's why we have to do our own movie.
Yeah.
Some people have to come to the conclusion: don't bump your head into the ceiling of castings only. Make your own stuff. Get out there, like Marshall Club, like Noah Flader, like you. Remember? I remember all your videos. That was so cool. You know, doing all these kicks with the back, all these combos. You know how many views? All the kicks you record, rope a dope, all the fights you did. I think if I was an investor, yeah, I would say give those guys money. Let them do their thing.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate that. We have 5 minutes left.
Okay.
I wanted to talk briefly about the perception of violence in Thailand. You live in a Buddhist country.
Yes.
And Thai films are often very violent. What do you see as the cultural perception there of violence?
Well, when they get violent, I think they get real violence. I mean, in real life. So the thing is, Thai people, they can take a lot of pressure. They have their Buddhist way to deal with stuff. You can talk to them. They can take a lot. They will keep smiling. But when you cross a certain border, like, and then you have to be really careful. Like, then there's no way back. So they tolerate a lot, and they keep smiling. And this mostly when it's about respect. So when you talk to older people, disrespect older people, disrespect Buddha or the king. You have to be careful. And that because they have good values. In Thailand, there is no vandalism. You don't see graffiti on the wall. There is no vandalism. There's no broken glass, what you see in Holland sometimes. They respect the country. So that respecting is but if you break the respect, if they're angry, then you have to be very careful.
Then you get sanctioned.
Yes, yeah, right. But yeah, Muay Thai is super tough, but they know, it's survival. It's money making. It is. They have to. Yeah.
My last question. You're a father. Did becoming a father change your own perception of violence and action?
Well, I actually fight a lot with my son, but that's just for fun. Well, my son gives me actually other things. So regarding violence, I think I haven't changed. But my son gives me other values. Like you can have a family and doing movies, for example. Some people think like, no, only think about your career. No, you can have a family. It empowers you. Life tastes like 150%. When you have kids, because there's more purpose. When you come home, you work hard. You're tired from stunts, even when you're injured. I did it for my family. I did it for my son. He's gonna get old. Maybe in the future he's gonna like this also. It gives just more value and flavor to life. And yeah, anything you do, when I spar with him a little bit, I think we learn from the kids. They are pure. They have pure energy, and sometimes we as adults lose it. So in that way, I'm learning from my son Nicky. And yeah, in violence, yeah, you have some good solutions sometimes. Like, Papa, don't do this, or sometimes we think too complicated. So to fix things, you just simple, like, oh, don't talk to him or don't do this. Yeah, I think having kids is great, but I didn't change about violence. It's just the value of life. It gives more purpose. Yeah, that's what I think.
I think having a kid made me more Thai, where I'll tolerate you for a long. And I'm talking about other people with my kids, right? I'll tolerate only a certain amount, but once you cross the line into my family, I'm a different animal now. So.
Oh, okay.
Maybe that's
okay. I know what you mean. Okay, there's another answer there. Yes, I protect more. When it comes to money, if you get in the movie business, if you get screwed, oh, that's not going to happen when you have kids, because you think like when they screw me, when I'm alone, okay, right? When they screw my whole family, right? My son cannot go to school, so in that way, I'm like it's a good thing to have a family. You're protected.
You're a super Thai now. Ron, thank you so much. I've really enjoyed our conversation. I feel like we could have gone a lot longer. Hopefully we can do another one. Hopefully in
Likewise.
person. Yeah.
Always, anytime, huh? Anytime.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, maybe we can do.
Okay. Take care.
Take care. Thank you so much. Huh? Life is action, guys and girls.
Thank you.
See you.
Action Talks is available on YouTube, iTunes, and Spotify. Join my Telegram at t.me/Eric Jacobus. You can check out my studio at superalloyinteractive.com. My website and blog is at ericjacobus.com. And be sure to subscribe. Thank you.